안녕하세요. 타악 연주자 황민왕입니다.
안녕하세요. My name is Satoshi Takeishi.
저는 지금 현재 그 국가무형문화재 남해안별신구 이수자이기도 하고요. 또 블랙스트링과 음악그룹 나무에서 타악 연주자로 활동하고 있고 그 외에 개인 작업으로 이음굿 프로젝트를 진행하고 있습니다.
Hello, my name is Satoshi Takeishi. I am from Japan, but I have been living in New York for many years, about 30 years. And I started in jazz music, but now I play more experimental, contemporary, improvised music. So it's a little bit out of standard music.
So it's a mixture of many genres?
Mixture of many genres, yes, totally.
오늘 녹음했던 곡은 사실 전체가 거의 즉흥곡이긴 한데 그 중에서도 첫 번째 풀이라는 곡은 무소극적인 색채를 지닌 구음과 사토시의 퍼커션이 만나는 즉흥곡이고요. 저희가 곡 이름을 정할 때 특별히 무언가를 상상하기보다는 장단에 나오는 분박 개념, 그러니까 5박이든지 4박이나 3박 이런 걸로 곡 제목을 지어서 두 번째 나오는 곡은 제목이 5이고요. 5이고요. 그래서 5박으로 만들어진 한국 전통 가락들의 사토시가 이제 즉흥적으로 그 색깔을 입혀주는 그런 방식의 곡들이고, 뒤에 나오는 태평소와 그리고 장구를 손으로 치는 방식, 그리고 사토시의 그 전형적인 셋 4박 안에서 이제 서로 주고받고 하는 것들이 있는데, 이 곡에서는 또 장구를 구음으로 하고 그걸 또 사토시가 받아서 즉흥으로 연주를 하고 이런 재미를 또 보실 수가 있고요. 마지막 곡은 셋이라는 곡인데 국거리 장단, 자진몰이 장단, 그리고 발버들에 나오는 이런 것들을 조금 더 즉흥의 범주 안에 넣어서 사토시와 함께 교감을 하는 그런 곡이라고 볼 수 있습니다.
I worked with a Komungo player, Ha Yoon-jeon. Me and Yoon-jeon goes back long time. I met her in New York when she came to study. Anyway, we have a long musical relationship, and every year she invited me to come here to perform with different people. So about 7 years ago, she had a big concert at that was a Yaora festival, and Yoon-jeon organized the whole ensemble, and then that was the first time I played with him. It was just very great. I think Yoon-jeon was very happy to find him. And then she told me like, I found a great Jang player. The only time that we played was like maybe 2 rehearsals and 1 concert, and that was it. So I always wanted to learn and to play with him more, and this was my dream. And last year, luckily, he invited me to play, again with him in Yaora Festival. So I get a chance to work on this music. This music that we did today is basically his ideas of all this based on shaman music, I'm sure. But for me to learn this, to listen to these different rhythmic ideas and then play with him is like, to me it's like a lesson. We are performing together, but every time I play, it's just so many informations I can learn from him. So it's great. It takes long time for me to really understand this is a deep music. So we are doing this, and I hope to do this every year so we can develop, our relationship more.
그 사이에 뉴욕 공연에서 같이 또 연주를 한 적이 있고 프로젝트가 있어서 영상으로 같이 연주를 했었는데, 그때는 참 잘 맞다고 생각했었던 게 이제 뉴욕에서 연결을 하니까 같이 시작해도 늦게 들어오잖아요. 음원이나 영상이 이렇게 펄스가 정확하니까 그냥 늦게 들어오면 늦게 들어오는 대로 서로 이렇게 연주해도 잘 맞더라고요. 한국 음악을 일단 기본적으로 너무 잘 알고 있고 한국 음악에 대한 존경심을 가지고 있는 분이기 때문에 같이 작업할 때 훨씬 더 수월한 것 같다고 해야 되나? 배울 점도 많고. 그 사이에 계속 뭐가 있었어요. 그래서 왜냐하면 공연을 같이 안 하더라도 뉴욕 공연 투어를 가면 항상 만나서 술을 먹든지 이야기하고 그리고 술 마시면 딴 얘기 안 해요. 뭐 음악, 한국 음악에 대해서 특히 장단에 대해서 관심이 되게 많기 때문에 그런 거 물어보고 교류는 계속 하고 있었습니다. 즉흥연주라는 것이 한국 전통 민속음악 같은 경우도 그런 경우가 많은데 사람이 누가 연주한 걸까 궁금하게 만드는 매력이 있거든요. 혹은 그 연주를 들으면 저 사람은 어떤 사람일 것 같아 이걸 약간 예상하게 되는 그런 것들이 있는데 음반 듣고 이 사람들은 누굴까 좀 궁금해 하셨으면 좋겠고 그래서 다음 음반도 좀 기대를 해주시면 좋을 것 같고 다른 공연장도 좀 찾아주시면 좋을 것 같고 곡 시작하고 나서 음악이 점점 발전돼서 중간에 맺는 단계까지 올라가는 그 과정을 좀 귀를 기울여서 들어주시면 훨씬 재밌는 감상 포인트가 되지 않을까 싶습니다.
How do two musicians from different culture, different background can get together and play music? I don't know Korean, I don't know shaman music, I don't know, but I try to learn from him. So we are exchanging ideas and languages, and he has a great ear. And this is all about hearing each other, listen to each other, and then support each other. So this is the most important thing. Like, how do these two drummers come from different world, putting the music together? I think the best offering to the people who wants to listen and who are curious about what's going on. And if we can get that message to the audience, I think we are doing a good job, as a musician. I've been listening to Korean music for many years, even before Minwang. Yoonjeon, she is my teacher basically. Everything I know about Korean music, from sanjo to pansori to samnori rhythms, all kinds of. So I know how it sounds. I don't know enough. He said kukorio. I don't know. Yeah, the name. When I hear it, okay, I know the rhythm. But I know to the point that I can follow. But there is a deep side of each of the rhythm. So every time I see him playing more and more and more, that I need to learn. At least I know the basics of each rhythms, so I can at least follow, like what's going on. This is one of the most interesting thing to me about the Korean music. Korea is in the middle of China and Japan, and then in the middle of the Far East Asia. Korea is the only country has this rhythm. Very, very intricate, especially the shamanic music is just so complex and so highly developed. If you listen to the shaman rituals, it's just crazy. My curiosity and my question always how they develop such an incredible rhythmic culture here, but it never got to Japan or to China. We cannot find this in Japan or China. West is a different, that's African-based, Middle Eastern, South American. South American is mostly African. So you can really say that all the rhythmic tradition is based on huge part Africa. Rock music, pop music that we know, it's based on African rhythm. But this one is just so unique and alone by itself. I remember I saw Samunori in 1992 in Central Park, New York. It was the first time I saw Korean group, and then they did the other side. I think it was a Kim Dok-soo, right?
Yeah,
Kim Dok-soo. I didn't know anything about Korean music. When I first saw their concert, I thought, wow, they are playing African music with the Korean instruments. I didn't know that this was actually the rhythm that existed here in Korea. It's just so unique by itself. It's not related to anything else. How do the shaman culture develop this rhythm? Like 6 and 5s and 4. In Japan, 4 is just it's like nothing. I'm sorry to say, it's like there's a different spirituality to Japanese taiko music. It's a different concept, but it's not the rhythmic ideas. It's more about the spirituality. It's about more theatrical. So it's very different concept. China, I don't know what happens, but it's that much interesting. They developed highly something else. All the other instrumental music, they develop it well, but the rhythm, not much. It's very one dimension to me.
보통 장단을 썼는데 조미료를 다르게 붙였다고 해야 되나? 그러니까 구성 방식, 진행 방식을 좀 많이 바꾼 것이라고 볼 수 있죠. 그러니까 전통 음악에서의 장단이 진행되는 방식은 모든 음악이 그렇긴 하지만 어쨌든 내고 달고 맺고 풀고 이런 형식이라는 게 있다면 그 사이사이에 이제 개인의 취향에 따른 변주, 이제 그걸 지금 우리는 즉흥이라고 부르고 있긴 하지만 그걸 조금 많이 드러내려고 노력을 한 거죠. 일단 제가 영어가 잘 안 되기 때문에 근데 처음에 이제 이야기 나눌 때는 시작이 정해져 있지 않아요. 끝은 정해져 있어요. 끝에는 그 소위 저희가 말하는 이제 섹션이라고 얘기하는 이제 끝내는 리듬골의 방식만 정해져 있고 거기까지 가는 거는 어떻게 될지 모르는 거죠. 그래서 그게 재미라고 생각해요. 그래서 연주할 때마다 일단 다르고 그래서 연주할 때마다 지치지 않고 그리고 새로운 아이디어를 계속 내야 되고 그래서 이제 녹음하는 과정에서도 첫 번째 테이크가 약간 예를 들면 두 번째 하면 더 잘할 수 있을 것 같은데 라고 생각했을 때 소위 말하는 이런 류의 음악은 두 번째, 세 번째 했을 때 잘 되는 경우가 거의 없어요. 왜냐면 앞에 했던 것들이 자꾸 뒤에 연주에 영향을 주기 때문에 그래서 연주할 때 따로 약속은 잘 거의 없는 것 같은데요. 주고받는 방식이 중간중간에 솔로처럼 왔다 갔다가 있고 같이 연주하는 부분이 있고 분위기가 올라왔을 때 넘어가자 이렇게 얘기를 하니까 근데 중간중간 잘 맞아요. 거기에 재미를 느끼는 거죠.
The Yaora festival, he sent me a video of him playing with his student of these ideas. He was just kind of, why don't we do this? And then I sent him something that I wanted to do with him also. I wanted to do definitely a tepyanso, but I didn't know he played tepyanso, which was surprising. But some of the ideas that I had was very similar to what he was thinking. We didn't communicate that much about the form, but he said okay, why don't we, this is the idea. Start with very open sound of gongs. So these ideas we exchanged. So we knew okay, so this piece is about Genesis. And then we start with a method, gongs. So that's enough information to improvise on it. And then that will go into this song Puri. And then so he had a structure, even though we not exactly what, but he had a structure of okay, let's start like this and let's go into this. And Puri he will sing, and I can do whatever I want. But I knew what kind of singing he would do. So that was a guide already for me. So it was not like completely, if we just sit there and then start improvising and whatever he does or whatever I do, we can create some music. But this was, I think it was more in a way structured improvisation. At least we know the shape of the whole concert. Basically I had enough information to work on. Of course. I mean, depends on what kind of jazz, of course. But we are not playing any songs. I mean, he's singing some shamanic shaman songs, of course, which I don't know. But I'm just listening, and then I can shape it as however I want. It's not like okay, it's 16 bars, and and then it's not like that. I don't know when he's gonna finish. I don't know when he's gonna start. So in that sense, yes, I had a lot more freedom than any other music.
You just knew that he was gonna sing. That's it.
Exactly,
Oh.
yeah. And I knew what kind of singing he would actually do.
Other than that, it was all improvised.
Yes. How we get to one point to the other, yes, that's always an improvisation.
주위에서 보신 분 중에 한 분이 둘이 서로 너무 배려를 하는 거 아닌가? 라는 얘기가 있을 정도로 뭐라 그래야 되죠? 이게 탁 연주자 둘이 하면 이렇게 좀 많이 시끄럽다고 그래야 되나요? 그러니까 소리가 전체적으로 크고 개인의 욕망을 좀 더 많이 드러내는 쪽이라면 그 반대의 성향인 것 같아요, 둘 다. 그래서 상대방 소리를 듣는데 일단 좀 더 집중을 많이 하는 편이고, 그래서 약속을 하지 않았지만 끝날 때까지 끝날 수 있고 시작하면 알아서 빨리 와서 들어와서 뭔가를 메꿔주고 막 이런 것들. 그래서 음반 낼 때 고민했었죠. 이게 너무 한 사람이 친 거 같아서 이게 파트가 나눠져 있는 게 좀 들려야 이게 듣는 재미가 있을 텐데라는 걱정도 사실 했었는데, 모르겠어요. 이제 많은 연주자들이랑 사실 연주를 하지만 이렇게 잘 맞다라고 하는, 손이 잘 맞는 거죠. 어르신들 표현대로 하면 손이 잘 맞는 연주자들을 만나기 사실 쉽지는 않거든요. 근데 참 운이 좋다라고 생각을 해요, 저는. 그런 면에서는. 사토시가 그 얘기를 한 적이 있어요. 내가 열심히 한국 음악을 공부를 해서 5년 뒤에 우리가 다시 뭘 또 해보자라고.
Yeah, definitely, it would be better. Yeah, I want to marry him. She was like, I'm looking at long-term working relationship because always it's gonna get better. Always, every time we play, there's things that we can understand each other. About how we play and how we think music and all this. So that can be developed, and my wish is always I want to play with him every week instead of every year. Right now I'm lucky if I can play with him once a year. I come here, do a festival or gig, and then play a little bit. That's fine. But my wish is I wish I can play with him every week or every month here, and then so we can develop more. But I think we are, because it's so concentrated when we get together, it's like we are very focused. of what we need to work. I think it's very quick to develop something. And then, once we develop this, it's like I try not to forget it. I have videos of our rehearsals and, our concerts. So every time I in New York, I will watch the video and try to remember, think about what can I do it better? What did I do that I missed? Things like that. So that's very important for me since we are in long distance relationship. So very little time we have, but I have to take advantage of that. As much as I can get the information and research.
저는 사토시랑 꼭 해보고 싶은 건 안 쉬고 한 1시간 반 공연인데 그날 만나서 그날 할 수 있는 그 전에 이제 몸은 만들어 가야겠죠 당연히. 그런 공연 한번 해보고 싶고, 근데 그게 예를 들면 이제 보통 제가 후린다라고 표현할 때가 있는데 그냥 있는 기술로 그냥 무작위로 그냥 이렇게 의미 없이 연주하는 게 아니라 뭔가 두 사람이 공통적으로 공유하고 같이 생각하고 있는 것을 이렇게 표현하는 것들이 작은 공연장에서 오랜 기간 공연을 한번 장기 공연 한번 해봤으면 좋겠다라는 생각이고, 그러면 어쨌든 저보다 사토시가 나이가 좀 있으니까 건강했으면 좋겠다라는 생각. 그렇습니다.
Of course, yeah. I mean, that's great. I think we exchange ideas, like what do you want to do, and then what I want to do. Like today, I wanted to do this because even before this recording, I talked to our friend Victor. Victor is the kind of like a musical director for Jarasan Jazz Festival. I talked to him like I want to record my album here in Seoul because I have so many musicians I love to record, and one was definitely Minwang. And I talked to Victor last year about, one day I'm gonna get ready. I wanna Yoonjun to do something, and then Minwang to do. I had couple ideas that I wanna do with him. It's a percussion music, but like more like an orchestra, which kind of we did it, because we have so many different textures and dynamics. And one thing I wanna do is develop this into more, how do you say? There is an album by Mickey Hart. Do you know who is Mickey Hart? Mickey Hart is a drummer from a band called Grateful Dead. It's a very, very huge, famous American band. Anyway, Mickey Hart did this percussion album for the movie called Apocalypse Now. Do you know the movie? It's about the Vietnam movie. It's pretty dark. But the movie, the soundtrack is only percussion. This is the first percussion album I've ever heard when I was in junior high school. And I was just blown away because it had of course it had a rhythm, but it had so much more, and the percussion could express so much. We don't need another instrument. But having said that, I think we can do this. We have so much sound between us. It's just like maybe focusing on, like we did a recording, it'd be good to hear, and then focusing on what worked really well. So it's always a process. So this is the continuous work that I want to do with him all the time. And if I come up with ideas, then we try, for the next performance. Next time we come here, we play in a venue. So not a big theater, but maybe small concert, and we just play again with different ideas. Another thing I'm thinking about is, since we're living in different places, like I will record something in New York and then send it to him. And then he can play on top of it, like some ideas. That would be an interesting way to work.
저는 원래 이제 이음굿 프로젝트라고 개인 작업을 계속해서 이어오고 있는데, 요즘 드는 생각이 이게 어떤 특정 공연장에서 하루 혹은 이틀 하고 또 1년 쉬었다가 작업해서 하루 혹은 이틀 하고 이제 끝나는 경우가 많다 보니까 그거보다는 지금처럼 녹음을 해서 앨범 작업을 하는 게 더 좋겠다라는 생각이 들어서 어떤 앨범들을 낼 수 있을까에 대한 그런 고민을 요즘 좀 많이 하고 있는 것 같고요. 그리고 앨범 작업을 하면서 공연장에서 사실 그럴 일이 잘 없는데 자기 소리를 너무 적나라하게 듣게 되잖아요. 그래서 연습을 열심히 해야겠다라는 생각을 다시금 하게 됐습니다. 연습을 열심히 해야겠어요. 네. 그 계획입니다.
In New York, I work with so many different projects, and now next one I go back to New York. It's gonna be with string orchestra in Canada. It's a composer, Canadian composer, who wrote the piece. So all these things, like I just came back from Australia, same thing with an ensemble in Australia with an Australian composer. So I work with a lot of composers, so in different ensembles, each project. So I keep doing this. Every time I get some job work, it's always interesting musically, you know, very different, very, very different. Some are very specific composed music, and some are a little more improvisation. I think my main purpose and my plan is to learn about this. How do you call it? This. He said 3 years for. No? That's my plan. It's like I wanna produce that sound. That's all I care. Projects, fine, you know? But I wanna produce that sound. Like I wanna be a musician who can hit something and then that will change somebody's life. You know? Which I was changed by those sound by a Korean musicians. So now I know that's what I have to do.
코로나 때 너무 좋았대요. 일이 없으니까 연주하고 싶을 때 연주하고 밥 먹고 또 이따 연주하고 싶을 때 연주하고 그거 엄청 좋았다 그러더라고요.
정말 아티스트이시네요.
네. 기본적으로 음악을 대하는 태도라고 해야 되나요? 그리고 음악하는 사람이 살아가는 방식에 대해서 되게 많이 배우게 돼요. 옆에 있으면. 그래서 약간 구도자 같은 느낌도 좀 있고, 그리고 이제 보통 주위 사람들이 사토시의 연주에 대해서 평을 할 때 올바른 곳에 올바른 연주를 하는 사람이라고 보통 이야기를 하거든요. 근데 탁 연주자가 그렇게 되기가 사실 쉽지 않아요. 탁 연주자는 안 치는 게 제일 힘든 직업이 탁 연주자거든요. 악기가 앞에 있으면 쳐야 되는 게 이제 예를 들면 보통의 상식이니까. 근데 그걸 안 할 수 있는 진짜 몇 안 되는 사람 중에 한 분이지 않나라는 생각이 듭니다.